5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the new Panic Room. It's the show other shows want to be, and the show that authors want to be on. The all-new Panic Room radio show is brought to you by hellboundbooks.com.
Well, good evening. It is, we had technical difficulties. I just went very quiet there. But we're back. We are back, and it is Thursday the 7th of March. It's the new Panic Room episode 134. So, yeah, it's been a week. It has been a week. And it's just been... Yeah, it has. It's been mostly a week, and it's been like 2 minutes since we were last doing this. So, but you know, and we rarely speak during the week, so this is my one time to catch up with Xtina and catch up on what's been going on in her world, which, to be honest, isn't usually much. Usually sleeping and drinking mostly, but so I think we missed it last week, and I think she did have a bit of a whine, so we'll bring her on with a fanfare.
Come on, I'm with you.
Xtina, my redneck friend. How are you this evening?
I'm good. And I missed that. You didn't play it for me last week, and I really missed it. I did. I didn't think that I would.
I know, I missed it too. It's a good old foot tapper there, but yeah, and of course, just to let the listener know that Xtina is broadcasting from the battered old velour couch on the front of her trailer.
I got my curlers. Yeah, my curlers in.
She's sitting there in a Daisy Dukes and a crop top with a pit bull and her old F-150 to one side there, so and a shotgun cast jauntily across her bare knees. So what a wonderful mental image that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a cigarette dangling out of my mouth too at the same time, and I could keep it going, but easy. We should do redneck hour, I think, and just have you introducing it all. That'd be great. It would be.
Yeah. See if we can get what's his name, Jeff's Foxworthy on, or to do his redneck routine. That is just hilarious. That really is. It's just so beautifully observed. He's very funny, yeah.
Yeah, but I liked from that whole, what was it, is that what that was called, the redneck comedy? No, I don't know what it was called. I don't know. But it was like it was Bill Engvall and Jeff Foxworthy, and then they had that cable guy who I thought sucked. But it
was like redneck comedy hour or something, yeah.
They also had Ron White, and I just thought he was hilarious. I thought he was the funniest, I think, out of all of them. I liked him.
Who's that?
His name was Ron White, and he would come out with like a glass of whiskey and a cigar in his hand, and I don't know.
I think I know him. Yeah.
I loved him. I did. I think I even had a little crush on him for a little while because he was so funny. I know.
I'll tell you somebody. I'll see if I can get a clip of him on the show. Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
He was very big back in the sort of late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And he was just so. And it's full of little nugget of movie trivia for movie fans out there. On Reservoir Dogs, in the background, they feature like a DJ playing. It's a slamming soundtrack to that movie. One of the best movie soundtracks ever. And they actually have Stephen Wright as the DJ.
I did not know
but he's just so dry and deadpan. It's just so. My favourite of his is, It's a Small World. I wouldn't want to paint it. It's like imagine Eeyore, Winnie the Pooh's mate, Eeyore telling gags, but he was good. He was fun.
I was like Mitch Hedberg. He just tickled me. He kind of was. I don't know. I know he had this one little bit that he would talk about how he would lay in bed at night and think of something funny, but he didn't want to get out of bed because it'd be too much work. So he's like, so I had to convince myself it wasn't that funny. I don't know. I just thought he was great.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some decent comics around at the moment, but
I haven't heard any in a long time.
Say again.
I haven't heard any in a really long time. Like it's hard to invest some time in somebody you have no idea, who they are, if they're funny at all, because people have different, tastes as far as comedy goes, and I don't want to waste my time on something I'm not going to laugh at. So.
That's true. Yeah, you got to commit like a whole hour. It's
I know, and I just don't have that time.
No, well, because you're sleeping.
Exactly. Yes, I should be napping instead. Yeah.
I think you're actually part woman, part ferret. I think. My daughter's ferret sleeps like literally 18, 19 hours a day. I mean, she just sleeps. It's just funny. It's just great. What a great life. I mean. She gets up, eats, has some little water out of the bottle, has a crap, and then goes back to bed. What a perfect life.
Yeah.
Absolute perfect life. She has everything done for her. We get her out, every day. So, at least we try every day if we can catch her awake to get her out to have a run around and a bit of a play, and then back to bed. It's funny, you'll be playing with her, and then it's like let's suddenly flick the switch, and I'm tired now. And she will actually go and climb back into a cage and go to bed.
I'm done. Yeah, she's done. Yeah.
I'm done. I'm going back to bed now. So yeah, bye. It's just like okay. So we'll stop playing now. That's it then, is it? Bless her.
I need to be a ferret, or maybe come back in the next life as a ferret.
Well, what you need to do is become a Buddhist, and then you can come back as a ferret, and then just be very ferrety most of the time.
Very ferrety. Gotcha.
Ferrety.
Gotcha. It sounds great.
So what's been going on in your my I'm just all over the place at the moment. What's going on in your wonderful life? Nobody cares, to be honest. Nobody cares. I for one, as the sample population of one, don't care. So
no. Oh, that's horrible. No. And you care. You do care. I can fill you in on baseball talk if you'd like.
You go. You can try.
You
can give it a go.
Yeah, you're going to push the
Would I do that? Would I do that to you?
Yes.
Would I?
Strike one.
I've 2 words to say to that. Shite! What's the other one? Shite!
That's going to get a lot of airtime over the next.
It is.
However long the season goes on for like 9 years or something ridiculous.
It does, and it's only spring training right now, so it doesn't really count for much of anything. The Blue Jays have lost 5 games.
None of it does.
6, so.
None of it counts for anything. It's just a game. It's just a game. It's pretend. It's a game. It's grown men hitting the ball and running around the field. That's what it is.
You know what? I was just reminded there was last year I was trying to talk baseball and you muted me.
I did.
I didn't know that you actually unmuted me. Usually I hear that, because I can hear it in my ear, unmuted, and I didn't hear anything, and I was fuming. I was in my head going, I cannot believe he still has me muted, and you didn't. So I felt kind of silly afterwards.
Awesome. Yeah. Of course you did. Damn right too. So, hey, Xtina, what have we got on the show this evening? He said, try to just, get back to normality here. Well, what's going on? What is going on this evening?
Let's see. This week on the Panic Room, we have returning guest, erotica author Damian J. Clark, and we also have in the second segment, dark satire writer David Hayes.
Well, isn't that just that? I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So, I'd let you introduce the first guest. So you booked him. You can introduce him. Who's coming up next, Xtina?
Okay, our first guest is returning guest, erotica author Damian J. Clark. Woo!
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, how are we?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm a bit gassy this evening. I'm a bit gassy. I had sort of fried food for my dinner, and I've just downed a whole Monster drink. So I'm a little bit gassy at the moment, but which is fine. Which is fine.
I had pizza earlier, so I know the feeling.
Yay, pizza. I made enchiladas for dinner, and they were really good. They were really cheesy.
No. Oh, yeah, I like an enchilada or two. I like one of those. So Damian is here to talk to us about his book. I Did What Again? I love the tagline. It's here we go. After my last oh shit moment, which ended in me having a vampire coven as mistress as my submissive, I didn't think life could get any weirder. It's an amazing thing, the people that enter your life randomly. Then you start thinking, is it random? And are you sure they are people? Wow. So a vampire comes mistress as a submissive.
I was going to say that's gross.
It's got my mind sparking already. So Damien, tell us a bit more about it.
Well, it is a sequel to my first book, which was I Did What, which I believe last time I was on the show was the book that I read from. It is a paranormal BDSM erotica.
Do you know that ticks every box, doesn't it? Every box is ticked. Literally. I'm impressed. Well done.
I try to hit them all usually. But yeah, and it's a story, the continued story of one general medical practicing psychologist named Dr. Sebastian Fox, who moved to a new city in book 1 and basically got involved with the local BDSM dungeon, only to find out after he'd gotten very deeply involved with several members that, there were vampires. And his submissive is the mistress of the club who runs the whole show, who was a dame that basically found the right guy and, became his submissive. And number 2 is continuing right where I left off on number 1.
Awesome.
I love that premise. That is phenomenal. A vampire BDSM club. Again, I need to go there. I need to find out where it is and just go there.
Don't we all?
Oh, yeah.
So, do you plan on more books in the series, or do they keep talking to you, or did you plan on a series when you started writing?
I was hoping that I would keep going with this one and turn it into a good series. I've already got the title for book 3, and I'm been getting ready to start on it. I've got the background story in my head, or background of it in my head. Obviously, the background story I've already written 2 books on. So yeah, I'm going to keep going with it as long as I can. One of the things I am doing with it that, if you're a fan of my work, because I also write paranormal romance, I've got another series out. I actually have the 2 tied together in a way.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So if you have read my other series, which is called Shade of Dark Moon, which are longer novel-sized books, you'll actually see the connection.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have to admit, I read a lot. I used to. I don't have time to read as much anymore, but I used to read like dark romance. I guess I don't even know if it would be considered romance, but like the captive. I love the captive stories and stuff like that. And I've never read a male erotica author. Do you ever run into people who won't read you because you're a male?
Well, I don't know that I've ever ran into any, but I have actually, after I wrote the first one, I did in fact have a lady read the book for me. I don't remember her name, unfortunately. I wish I did. But she actually posted on Facebook on a post that I had made. So she replied to a post that I had made about the book, saying that she thought it was great, that she doesn't normally read male authors that write erotica or romance. And she said after reading my book, she is going to start checking more out.
Awesome. That's great. That is.
But I have definitely heard more than once from a lot of ladies that they don't necessarily like reading. I don't know if they just don't like the man's perspective. I've never read a lot of erotica books. So, I usually would imagine that most men who write erotica write from the male perspective, which I have read erotica from the female perspective, and I can guarantee you it is very different.
Yeah, I would imagine too. So do you write strictly from, you do write strictly from like the male's point of view, like your main character, everything is seen through his eyes, right? Yes. I'm a huge fan of the first person writing, because in my erotica, there is also a storyline. So, which is another thing I've been complimented on, which I really love and appreciate about my fans, that they say that there's just enough story in there to keep you interested in the story, along with all the sex. Nice. I was thinking, I have read some books before. Well, they will go back and forth between the different point of views. You'll have like the the heroine and then the heroes. And I am telling you, there are times that I've read these books and, you can't, when you're, it's a different chapter and we switch POVs and like halfway through it, I'm like, whose head are we in? Because there's just no differentiating. So I think I would definitely prefer just, one point of view. Just keep it, keep it simple. Don't try to do something you don't really know as much about. Like I think the same goes for like a female. If they're writing a book and they're trying to do it from the male's point of view, unless you're a male, can you really do that? I mean, we really think way differently, men and women do. We really do.
I once read an erotica, and it was obviously written by a woman who was obviously trying to write as a guy, and it was reading it as a guy. It was funny. It was probably as funny as a woman reading erotica written by a man trying to be a woman, because again, the woman's perception of what we've got in our sort of undercarriage it was just funny. It was just like so wide of the mark, but it kept me entertained for a bit. So that's the main thing, isn't it? Really, that's the main.
It is.
Absolutely.
Damian, I want to hear more about I Did What Again. So do you have a reading for us?
I do. I did pick a somewhat sensual moment in the book. I don't write a whole lot of those, so I thought that might be a little bit more fun this time than something a little more hardcore. This book did actually get a little more into it. But yes, I do. If you are ready to hear it, I am ready to read.
Definitely. It's all yours.
Okay. Now, just keep in mind, most of this takes in place at the actual club, and so there's a scene already set up as I go, but I'm kind of starting a little bit into it because I don't like to give away much of the storyline. But here we go.
Yes.
As I pick the bottle of oil up, I look over her body. Her breasts are small and perky with little nipples that are already hard in the cool room. I can almost see the outline of ribs under them, but her baby fat is still cushioning her. I keep looking down her body, her slim waist, perfect curved hips, long legs, and even pretty feet. She's softly sexy from bottom to top. We're going to use the stoplight method for safety. If you start to feel uncomfortable or you need a breather, say yellow. If you want me to stop everything, say red. If you have said either and then feel ready to continue, say green, I tell her as I put some oil in my hand, ready to cover her in a light coating from toes to neck. Yes, doctor, she confirms. Good girl, I say as I set my hands on her chest above her breasts and slide them towards her neck first. The peppermint oil causing a cooling feeling across her chest, and she takes a sudden inhale of breath, but doesn't say anything. I make a circle motion towards her shoulders and then arc back in to go over her perky breasts, her nipples tightening further as the peppermint cools her skin the peppermint fools her skin into thinking it's colder. I hear the restraints rattle a little as she pulls in and arches her back a little, a soft moan escaping her mouth as I finish the circle and add more oil to my hands. I step to the side of the table and place my hand on her waistline and start a circle up and across her other side, spreading the oil evenly along the sides using her belly button as the center point. I make sure that I brush my fingers lightly against the bottom sides of her breasts, teasing her slightly with the sensual nature of the rub-down. Once her torso has a light coating, I start down her legs, one at a time, brushing my hands as close to her pussy as I can without touching it. Yet. I rub each leg, massaging them both for a few minutes each to help her relax more. Her breathing is heavy, and I would guess her pulse is racing already. When I get down to her toes, I discover a delicious thing. She has ticklish feet. I have a few things already in here that go buzz, one of those being a set of vibrating nipple clamps on cords with varying speeds. I pull it out and place the clamps along the side of her foot, just in front of her outer ankles, and wrap the cord around her foot to hold them in place. I don't turn them on yet. I can tell with the slight way her head is moving and biting her lower lip that she is nervous and wondering what those are and what they do. I enjoy this way too much. Once the buzzies are in place, I walk the length of the table, sliding my fingers along the sides of her legs and body as I go until I'm standing at the short end by her head again. I add more oil to my hands and massage her arms, making sure to position her hands palm down when I'm done. Don't move your hands, I tell her. Yes, doctor, she says in short breaths. Once I finish her arms, I add a little more to the upper chest and the base of her neck. I rub up the side of her neck slowly to check her pulse. I'm a little worried about her breathing and want to make sure she isn't in danger of an anxiety attack. A quick count of the beats puts it at safe, although elevated rate. I grab the first set of 4 candles I am using and set them on the table near her head, but out of distance if she moves her head to the sides. I see her nostrils flare as she sniffs the air when I set them down, and she visibly relaxes. I pick up the red cherry blossom candle to start with. I test the temperature by dripping some on my wrist. Satisfied, I place the fingers of my free hand above her left breast. She takes a quick breath, then begins to relax when she realizes it isn't wax, and I pour a quick stream on her right nipple. I'm pleased when instead of a sharp intake of breath, I get a pleasure-filled moan. I pour another quick stream over the other nipple, getting a similar reaction. Pleased with the beginning, I blow lightly across her belly, activating the peppermint again to send a rush of cold through her, then pour a line of wax down the center of her chest to her belly button. Her fingers strain as she presses them into the table, and her back arches again, more so this time. How am I on time for this?
No, keep going. I'm almost there. Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. Next, I pour a line from one nipple to the other in red wax. She pulls against the restraints with her legs, and the sound of the short change excites me further. I pour another line, starting from the end of the middle one, diagonally down and left, then another to the other side. She rocks a little, causing the wax to spread more before it cools enough to stop. I change to the lavender candle and pour a circle around her belly button, blowing on her stomach as I do to cool the peppermint again. The sensation of cold and hot at the same time gets me another good moan of pleasure, then she bites her lip. I grab the white jasmine candle, and with one in each hand, I blow down her legs, then follow with a line of wax going from her thighs to her knees. I set the lavender down to push the button on the buzzies tied to her feet, low setting. In reflexology massage of the feet, that's the nerve attached to the groin area. The immediate response is more than satisfying and goes straight to my groin. Easy,
Woo,
Sebastian.
I gotta stop you. That's awesome, though, Damian. That was great. I know,
So,
James. You know.
No, I thank you. I'm done. Thank you. That was fantastic. I needed that. That was great.
That was awesome.
That was
it has
steamy beyond steamy. I like, and I have to say, obviously, I've without sounding too grubby, I've read a fair bit of erotica and something, and it was well done. It wasn't porny. It was erotic, and I like that.
Well, thank you.
And beautifully read as well. You read that well. It's great. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I have to say it got really warm in here, and normally I'm cold. Like, I'm cold all the time, but I can take off the sweater now. I'm good.
So there's lots of twitching and moistening going on. So shall we just say?
That was great. So, I was wondering, Damian, with of course, it doesn't work the same way with, you're talking about vampires, but, you're writing about the, BDSM and submissives. And so is there a whole lot of research that goes in, or is this like firsthand knowledge, or?
I am actually a practitioner in the BDSM lifestyle. Yes. I am what they call a sensual daddy dom.
Wow.
I do currently have a submissive that her and I live together. We're in a real relationship as well as a BDSM relationship. My little kitten. This one's taking a little bit of getting used to because she's actually a masochist.
Oh wow.
And I am not a sadist, so I've had to kind of adjust myself into doing things that, I honestly had never expected I would do personally, but I have been and found that it's a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah,
there's a thought. So what would happen if sort of, it was a masochist and a masochist? I mean, it's just, it would never work, would it? It would never work.
Well, yeah, that would be, who did a band called Dr. Hook back in the 70s. Had a song where that was a line in it. Yeah, they had, I forget what the line is, but it was kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that would work, but, people who want something, they learn to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually wrote this scene while I was preparing to actually go kind of do the exact same scene at a BDSM dungeon party I was going to one night.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic. Cool.
Where does
I want
to
to come and hang out with you. I want to come and hang out at your house.
Right. Yeah, where does one find one of those parties? I'm thinking, Craigslist is probably not a good place.
Well,
not unless you want to end up dead.
Right.
There is actually a Kingster's website, where you can meet other people and you'll get events posted for your local areas for dungeon parties and munches and all kinds of different things. I actually, one of the ways I got into it and started learning about a lot of it was that website, and found out that in Springfield, Missouri, which is smack dab in the middle of the Bible Belt, there's a BDSM dungeon.
Wow.
And a fairly good-sized community. I was like, well, okay. I guess in the middle of all that religion, you've got to have somebody who knows how to have a good time.
You got to have an outlet somewhere, yeah. So a dungeon it is. Yeah.
Well, they say the fervent religious lot are some of the most perverted. I mean, you just have to look at the Catholic Church, for example, just as a random example, that they're a bunch of perverts, And a lot of these organised religions are just an excuse to play with little boys, really. So. Yeah, at least, the people in the BDSM community are open and honest about what they're up to, and it's like Damian, I back in the day, we ran a company that had associations within that community back in England, and they are some of the most, entertaining and nicest people you could ever meet. Absolutely brilliant set of people. Great, yeah, absolutely loved it.
Yeah. So I've actually...
Xtina's judging us now.
Oh.
We're being judged.
No.
I got a feeling she's not judging us very harshly. One of the Facebook groups that I actually admin for, it's a BDSM education group, the page owners have actually posted several articles that are medical journal articles discussing the actual health benefits, both physical and psychological, of being in a BDSM relationship. It's quite interesting to find out that people who participate in BDSM are emotionally, psychologically, and physically healthier because they're more relaxed.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. That's brilliant.
I truly thought when I asked the question that you were going to avoid the answer. So, now I'm going, I don't know where to go from here. But I do want an invite to that page, though.
Yeah, you do. You're on my Facebook page, and I'm very, very open about it.
You are. That's great.
So I have to ask, and I think I know what the answer is going to be. What was your take on 50 Shades?
I thought it was a good romance story. I've read the entire series, and although I see people constantly pick it apart, especially people who are in BDSM, and how crappy it is as a representation, and I always try and just remind everybody, hey, look, it's a book. It's a work of fiction. and
right.
you know, it's an excellent romance story, and you know, it's pretty kinky. I mean, even if you know, are someone who practices and didn't like it, it's still pretty kinky, and to the average person, it's pretty amazing stuff. I enjoyed it. I'm not embarrassed to say I enjoyed the whole story.
I enjoyed the movies. I have to say I read all 3 books, and while, you know, I can say I read them all, and I can't even say that I didn't enjoy it, but I still don't think her writing, I mean, I still think I don't know, the writing definitely left something to be desired for me. But yeah, I mean, I liked the characters, and I loved the movies. I did. I think the movies were portrayed Anna in a lot different than what I pictured her in the books, and gave her like a little feisty little thing there, and the humor to me was great. But you know, I think the writing could have been better. I think it is my only gripe, I think, about the series and the books, were the writing. So, but yeah,
I have heard a lot of people that agree with you on that one, that her writing on the book was a little bit lacking. Personally, it wasn't something I was paying attention to, really. I was just enjoying the story. I honestly, and this is the funny thing, because I'm a writer now, grammar and English was by far my worst subject growing up.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh wow.
It was,
yeah.
Yeah. I actually, when I first wrote my first book, I got lucky enough to meet a gentleman who was a PhD in English, and he, for free, just to be a nice guy, because he was retired and had a lot of time on his hands, became a writing coach for me.
Wow.
Oh, that's fantastic. You lucky person, you.
Yeah, I was very lucky, because after a few sessions of him teaching me, I went back and read my book, and I went, oh my God, my grammar sucks.
That's funny. But people are still reading it. People are still buying it. So, you know, and I think that there's something to say as well with, you know, there, as far as I'm concerned, 2 different kinds of writers. They have the ones who, I've read books where, you know, every other word I'm grabbing a dictionary to see, you know, what does this mean? What are they trying to say here? And I think sometimes it's too flowery. It's too, you know, I don't want to work hard when I'm reading.
I think some, you know, I like to get my, you know, have my readers work a little bit, but I think some just go too much the other way, trying to be clever. You know, if I don't dumb down, you know, if I think, you know, that word is appropriate there, and okay, not everybody's going to get it, you know, so look it up, you know. We read a lot of, we obviously in our job really read a lot of books where people think they have to explain everything.
Yeah.
And they don't. If they use a big word, they explain it, and don't do that. I put a line through it. You know, if you read and I do even now. You know, as much as I read and write and everything. You know, I will read a book and I'll come across a word, and I've learned something. I've learned something new, and I've learned a new word, and you know, I like that. I enjoy that.
Well, what I've said before about your writing, James, is that, you know, when you throw in a big word, or when you use a big word, you know what it means, and you're not doing it in a
you're not trying really hard to use it.
Exactly.
No.
It just comes naturally. So I mean, that's different. But I mean, I've definitely read the ones where I'm even thinking, do you even know what that word is? Or, you know, did you just so it's like the episode of Friends where Joey had the thesaurus and he was trying to write that letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, but then what you were just talking about, James, do you remember that one submission we got in ages ago, but the one line said, you know, there was some kind of noise. Do you remember the some kind of noise? You're like, what kind of noise was it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then it was that, and such and such happened for some reason. Such and such happened.
For
well,
some reason,
you know,
yes.
you're writing the book. You are supposed to say that. You're supposed to explain what that reason is. Yeah, that's the point. You know. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, there was some kind of noise. That was brilliant. It's like, okay, great, well done. And yeah, the other way, I read a sub a while ago now, and the guy had obviously, I mean, it was a nice story, it was a neat little story, but he'd obviously gone over it like dozens of times, and each time enhanced it, and each sentence was way too, I was just crammed. I thought, like, well, I've got to fit another word in, and it was like something he described the feathered birds flying overhead, and it was like, well, okay, you know, I mean, what other kind are they? You know, I mean, okay, people say, oh, there are some parrots, and there's a stress problem in parrots where they do pull out their own feathers. But if they pull out their feathers, they can't fly. So on so many levels, that was just wrong. But it just, as an illustration of overcooking it, and it was so, I could just about make out the story and it was nice. It was a neat little story, but it was just weighed down with all this extraneous stuff. I tell you, it is a little thing from me many years ago. One of the biggest lessons in writing, because we were always taught at school, you know, and enhance your sentences, and you know, don't just say he walked somewhere, and da. I remember reading, it was Firestarter by Stephen King. I read that when I was at university, and that was sort of practicing being a writer back in those days. And there was a line to describe a guy getting out of the car, and it was, he got out. And that was it. And it was like, boom, and it was just, that's all you needed to say. He got out. You know, the car pulled up. Yeah. He got out, and it's like, and that was like a eureka moment for me. Was you don't have to overcook it. You know, you can, if you're telling the story, you tell the damn story. You know, and don't overdo it. And that stuck with me all these years.
Well, like, you know, when I'm doing editing and proofreading and stuff, you know, sometimes I take out adverbs often, especially with, you know, I ran into.
Don't get me started on those. Don't get me started on those.
I quickly ran. Well, how else do you run? Do you ever slowly run? I mean, you know, you don't really need the fact that it's quickly.
Well,
you just kind of.
One of the worst ones is he went over there. Oh. Okay.
Over where?
He went. How did he go over there? Yeah, we know. You know, he went across the road, for example, or he went into the other room, or he just don't use went or go for fuck's sake.
Did he walk there?
Did he crawl? Did he crawl? Did he jump? I mean, did he sort of hop? I mean, whatever. You know, he's just like, seriously, people. You know, an adverb. No adverbs. Don't get me on those.
Yeah. You know, in my own writing, I feel I always have to watch myself when I overuse things like I made my way into, you know, wherever. I have to watch myself for overusing that one. You can only do that once in a while. You can't do it every time.
You can throw the odd one.
I tend to use the word stalk for some reason.
Stalk?
Like either stalked over, you know, like a predator to prey.
I like skulk. Skulk is a favorite of mine.
Skulking, when you're being sneaky.
I always have a lot of things skulking in dark shadows. That happens a lot in my work. So, who do you read? Obviously, you've read E.L. James a fair bit. Who do you read in your spare time?
My reading, honestly. Since I started writing back in 2015, I haven't read a single book by anybody.
Wow.
Well, the thing is I'm really worried that what I'm going to wind up doing is really enjoying the book and put their ideas into my stories, because I'm always writing. I've actually got 8 manuscripts going right now on my laptop.
Wow. That's impressive.
And what I mean, it's slow going because there's so many, and every once in a while I have to stop myself and go, no, I really need to get this other one done. But, I got to a point where every once in a while I'll listen to an audio book, because, I mean, I drive a semi for a living, so I'm always on the road. And I'll listen to an audio book, but I always listen to something I've already listened to or read before, so that I already know what the ideas are, so I know to avoid them. But yeah, I used to read a lot of R.A. Salvatore, a lot of the medieval fantasy type. Mm-hmm. What was it, Weiss and Hickman? A lot of those books. I really hadn't even read anything like a Twilight type book or anything like that before I started writing, and I jumped right into, the paranormal romance genre with my first book, and I just haven't looked back.
Excellent.
That's so
Cool.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well, Damian, we are just about out of time for our first segment. Can you tell us where we can find you online?
Well, I mean, aside from Facebook, which just look up my name, all my titles are on Amazon.com. Just search Damian J. Clark and you'll find them all. I have a website at damianjclark.weebly.com.
Awesome.
And that's all I can remember.
Awesome. I will get your
that's
link.
more than enough.
It is. Well, get your links put up on our Facebook page. If anybody wants to stalk you, then go there and do it. And again, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll definitely have to have you back soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you much. You guys have a wonderful night.
Thank you for bringing a nice bit of steam to the show. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. Glad I could be there.
Good man. Have a good one. Have a good evening. Thank you, Damian. Bye-bye. And we will be back after this sort of break.
5, 4.
I did it again. I pressed the wrong button. Oh dear me! It's one of those. I knew this was going to happen. It's been one of those nights, hasn't it? It really has. Shall we? And we can edit it out, don't you? In post, we can.
Yeah.
We'll do that in post, shall we? We will be. He said, trying to be smooth. We'll be right back right after this here message.
Radio Show is sponsored by Hellbound Books, purveyors of all manner of dark fiction. You can find the publisher along with links to all their available works across platforms at hellboundbookspublishing.com. Hellbound Books is proud to be the first in the indie publishing business with a very own app on both Google Play and the App Store. In the mood for something steamy to read, check out new erotica author Jennifer Lynn's website at jenniferlynnerotica.com. You can find James at his website, www.jameslongmore.com, and Xtina has an author page found on the Hellbound website. Don't forget to follow the Panic Room Radio Show on social media. Our Facebook page, Unofficial The Panic Room Radio Show, Twitter at Panic Room Radio, our YouTube channel, The New Panic Room Radio Show, and come visit our website at www.panicroomradio.com.
Always thinking of you so
And he's back. Are you there, Xtina, my dear?
I am. I had to unmute myself. I was taking a drink,
come on,
okay?
Feel free to join in.
I had to swallow my drink.
Swallow your what now? What's that?
My drink, my wine.
Oh, you drink. I have to say, speaking of swallowing things, Damian's snippet was, it was very steamy there, wasn't it? It was all oil and feet, and I was enjoying that. I need to, yes, I need to get a copy of that book.
Speaking of
for research purposes only.
Exactly, research. Yes.
Research. Mm-hmm.
We should compare notes. Yeah.
We should do that. Yeah. It's funny you said about reading. It's funny. You get into writing and that, and one of our pleasures is reading, but he just sort of goes out of the window.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. We just don't seem to have the time to read, and it's a shame. But hey, I actually prefer. I prefer to read than to write sometimes. But nobody doesn't. People don't pay you to read, so
they don't. Unfortunately, because that would be a sweet job right there. It would be.
It would.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you would be good as like a mattress tester or something. You could just be paid to sleep. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. No, this bed is too soft. No, I could call myself Goldilocks. It would be amazing. It would be. I should. You could. That's it. You could be sort of a performance artist, and that's your thing. You just sleep. You could set in the Tate Modern or the Louvre, just sleeping, and just that be your installation art piece.
Definitely.
Xtina in repose. Somebody would pay millions for that.
I'm hoping they would. That'd be a good way to make some money. I'm sold. I'm going to go ahead and try to figure out how I can get into this business. Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of useless people, Donald J, God bless him. He had the summit with Kim, and it was over. It was all very low key. I know they had to meet him. I mean, the first one was all exciting and what's going on, and I don't know. Do you know anything? Had you heard much? I mean, I really, other than it was a little bit awkward, of course, but.
You're where I get my
haven't heard anything.
News. So yeah, no. If you have not told me about it, I have not heard about it.
Oh right, okay. Well, but then it hasn't happened. I just no. It does. I mean, I obviously keep my eye on the news. Maybe it's because I've been, extra busy this week, and missed it. But it's not even Trump's usual. Bullshit rhetoric has sort of filtered through. So I don't know. Maybe they've fallen out over Legos or something.
You never know.
You could imagine that. No, it could be. I make the best Legos of all time in the history of Legos.
It's actually Lego. There's no S. You don't add the S. It's just Lego. Did you know that? I was corrected once by a Lego aficionado. Yeah.
over here, Americans say Legos, which is I have kind of because when I say Lego, people look at me like I'm sort of.
That's because we're retarded. Odd. I mean, it's not supposed to. I don't think. Yeah.
Yes, you are. You are a nation of retards. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. There's no S. It's just, but we've always done that. I think Americans have always bastardized, words and stuff like that. So
you bastardized the entire English language.
Yeah, so that's
basically speaking as an English British person, you absolutely destroyed the language.
Mhm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. So it's not a surprise that we say Lego when it's not supposed to be. It's just Lego. So
I know it's Lego. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it means something in it's Norwegian as well. It means something like the play or play something or it actually does mean something. So
it sure doesn't mean like foot torture. Have you ever stepped on a Lego? Oh my gosh, it's the worst.
Have I ever? Those little tiny single pieces, and they make them sort of so they disguise themselves on the carpet.
Right.
Yes, I've stepped on many. I often said, all this thing about, in war zones, landmines. Just don't bother with landmines. Just sprinkle those little Lego bits. And anybody said, you just,
Definitely.
So speaking of Lego, I don't know what to speak of Legos. Do we have something else going on, or is it time for bed now?
No, we have a second segment here, and I'm excited. We have a dark satire writer, David Hayes, is up next.
Oh. Well, good evening, David. Are we there?
I am here.
I must say, we have. I don't think we've had any sort of satirist on the show before, let alone a dark satire writer. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here.
So, and obviously being British, I do like my satire, and I especially like my satire dark. So, tell us a bit more about it.
I don't think that the British have non-dark satire. I think that's a thing, isn't it? It's like
yes, all our satire is dark. We don't talk about Brexit. Seriously, that is beyond satire, beyond parody. It's just.
Is it too soon?
It will never be the right time.
I feel the same way about Trump, though. So I don't know. Maybe we can have a trumpet or a Brexum or something like that.
Well, exactly. I mean, ironically, I moved over here sort of 8.5 years ago from. Britain was sinking. We were just come out of the aftermath of the 13-year socialist movement, which had completely trashed the country, and it was going down the toilet then. Thinking, America, land of opportunity, things are better. What happens? We get Donald J. Trump, and he's going down the toilet here rapidly. It's almost like which country can go down the toilet quickest. I'm seriously considering Canada, Mexico, Haiti, anywhere really.
I think I'm going to blame you. So. You leave the courtesy flush of Great Britain. You get here. That's when Trump starts his stuff about the birther things. This is your fault. 100%.
Its lowest common denominator is me. So I take full responsibility for all of it. I'm so sorry.
A socially responsible person would move to some country that you want to destroy next. If you know that you have like this anti-Midas touch, like move to Moscow.
Yeah, or what I could do is put myself out to the highest bidder and see who would pay me to go to Moscow or Mexico or Venezuela or I always fancy Australia, but they're just sort of burning up at the moment. They've got a stupid heat wave down there at the moment. So I think exactly. Hang on a minute. So's Britain. The whole world is going to hell in a handbasket at the moment, which is kind of depressing.
So, and that's the reason we have Netflix, so we don't notice.
Exactly.
All of the plan.
Exactly. Well, as was it Karl Marx said, religion is the opiate of the masses. I think in today's world, it's TV is the opiate of the masses, and I do like a bit of TV, which reminds me that I think it's the Orville on again tonight, so I'll be watching that after the show.
Blessed relief. I do the same thing. I'm addicted to those, and it's completely stupid, and I shouldn't admit this to people that are listening, but I'm addicted to the ghost hunting shows.
I love them.
Cool.
I love it. What's one of your favorites? I used to love Ghost Hunters. Like, I wasn't a fan of any of the other ones. Just I loved Ghost Hunters. I loved Hugh. What was the name? Grant. Who was the other guy? There was Grant and Jason, right?
Grant and the bald guy. I don't.
Yeah, Jason. I think it was Jason.
They're a folk duo, Grant and the bald guy.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Ghost Adventures because Zach Baggins is completely hilarious. A bunch of bros, Las Vegas bros decide to go hunting ghosts, and it's just absolute ridiculousness. And that's my pablum, my cool down.
I do. You know, I have to say most of the time when I was watching Ghost Hunters, there were so many episodes where nothing happened and you were sure they were going to find something. There happened to be one episode where I remember seeing like they caught it on film, on camera, whatever. It was like a rope that was like coming undone or something. Just totally freaked me out. It really did, because, as much as, I love horror, and I write horror and I write scary stuff, and, I love scary movies. If I was ever confronted by a real ghost, I don't know what would happen. I seriously don't. I would be scared, senseless. I wouldn't be able to handle it at all. So, the people who talk about they've actually, had some kind of paranormal experience or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, I do believe, and I just think that those people are, they can handle it, and I cannot. So I'm happy for them. They can keep their experience, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I would be so.
I really want a real one. I desperately want to have some experience. I mean, I used to do the ghost hunting. I suffer from what I call occupational envy, and if I see something really cool, I have to drop everything and go and try and do it. And so I was a ghost hunter for a while, doing investigations and things, and it was a trip. The people you meet in this world are not always.
You never had any experiences? No, nothing.
Nothing I could positively say. But there was a really cool place we went to in Arizona called Jerome, Arizona, and we were investigating a burn hospital from the 20s that, when it was filled with burn victims, burned down. So it was like this completely intense place where these people lived out, died of their greatest fear all over again.
Oh my gosh, that's
absolute
awful.
Intense.
Yeah, wow.
But I'm not sure if we're all creeped out and bringing that intensity, or it's there.
Right. I grew up in a small town in upstate New York, and it was I don't even think it was a town back then, or it is anymore, or whatever. But there was a little, I'm going to call it a town for lack of a better word. But right next to ours, that was where the spiritualism, I think, was born. I mean, it was the Fox sisters' house. Have you heard of that? Yeah, and that was everybody would talk about it and how creepy it was, and that was one of the dares. Have you ever been in? And I was actually inside of it. Me and a friend of mine, when I was a teen, snuck into the house. It was all boarded up, and and again, I can't say that anything truly happened there, but I was scared I was terrified, and there was but again, and there was a feeling. There was a very heavy feeling. But then again, as scared as I was, who knows if I was creating that? So
exactly. Did you bring it with?
Exactly.
And I think I mean, even when we talk about fiction and things like that, I think that's when it works the best. Is when someone comes in, ready for it and with their own little bit of context.
Yeah. That is too cool, ghost hunting, though. I definitely, like I said, I would have loved to have been with the ghost hunters when they were doing these things. But had anything happened, or if I saw anything, the EVPs, even those, I mean, if they're not being doctored, if that really is true EVPs, that is scary shit right there. That really is.
Yeah. I never got one myself, but I was with people that got them.
Oh, that's so cool. It is.
It was pretty insane.
I bet. I'm definitely. So.
And boring at the same time.
What?
It's hours of sitting.
Well, what were those movies? Shoot, I can't think of Paranormal Activity, right?
Ghostbusters. You think of Ghostbusters, Xtina?
Just like that, but I could never fit in the uniforms.
I meant Paranormal Activity movies. They were. I thought they were going to be so good. They had such a great idea, but I was less bored. I really was. I was bored.
They had better marketing than execution.
Yeah.
It was just sort of 87 minutes of CCTV and then 3 minutes of something happening a bit. It's like.
I felt like I had a security guard job.
Exactly. Yeah. You could just do that, but I didn't really buy into those. But anyway, David is here to talk to us about, and I just realised we are anthology mates. His story, Epiphany the Third, which is in the Time for Violence anthology, which is out. Is it May time?
I believe the end of May is when the physical print copies are out, and it's available for Kindle right now, though.
I'm holding out for I've got to have a print copy of this one. It looks. It's such. Obviously, I'm in it, so it's a great lineup. But there's some absolute fantastic. So I can't afford to buy all the books that I want to buy, but this one I'm going to hold out for the paperback and that. But welcome anthology mate. But tagline is a love letter to the great anthologies of yesteryear, which sounds jolly. So tell us a bit about the story there, David.
So the story I've got on this, it's called Epiphany and the Third, and A Time for Violence, of course, it's a crime anthology. The great crime stories of yesteryear. We should see those in the Alfred Hitchcock magazines, and there's little bits of crime in there. And this is less mystery and more real Quentin Tarantino pulpy crime fiction. And of course, great people in it. You're in there: Joe Lansdale, Max Collins, Richard Chismar, Richard Christian Matheson, John Russo, a huge fan of mine. I'm a huge fan of his. I doubt he knows I exist. But he's like the screenwriter of Night of the Living Dead, of course, and Return of the Living Dead. Just great stuff in there. And my story is a crime story as well, like I said, called Epiphany and the Third. And I've got an excerpt here. I don't know when you want me to do that.
Please.
You know what? If you're ready now, we'd love to hear it.
Sure, I'm ready now. Not the whole story, of course, just a tidbit. But here's my excerpt from Epiphany and the Third. Now, can I swear? Is that allowed?
Oh, please do. We're rated R.
That wasn't a story. That was a real question. Oh, good.
We're rated R.
Fucking A. All right. I'm going to start.
Okay.
Am I digging this goddamn hole myself? Louis Scalia, semi-professional hitman, asked politely. His counterpart, Mikey Rindazzo, a.k.a. College Boy, who leaned his bulky frame against the side of the duo's 2001 Crown Vic, hunched over an iPhone, and didn't respond. Mikey grunted, then shifted, trying to cover the little screen with shade. The blazing desert sun filled every nook and cranny, even as it slunk toward the horizon. Mikey's back and pits were soaked. Louis, doing the brunt of the labor, was even wetter. Seriously, College Boy, what the hell are you doing? To punctuate his point, Louis tossed the shovel down, narrowly missing the vaguely human-shaped object wrapped in a bedsheet. Mikey raised a single finger, indicating that Louis needed to wait. A beat. Another. A swipe of the screen. Just as Louis was about to speak again, Mikey threw his arms in the air and cheered. Yes, 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 he elated. Louis watched his partner dance, all 300 pounds of him. I got it! I got it! You have better won the fucking lottery or some test came back negative. I've been busting my ass in this hole for over an hour. Oh, it's worth it, man. So worth it. I won it on eBay. Mikey turned the phone around and showed Louis the picture of a comic book. Not just any comic, though. It was an Action number 292 in very fine condition from September of 1962. The cover showed our hero, Superman, defeating his archenemy Lex Luthor against a jury of robots. That wasn't the important part, though. The comic was even more special than that. This comic is the first appearance of Comet in a Supergirl story, man. Seriously with this shit? Supergirl I heard of. Comet's like a goddamn reindeer or something. Mikey pulled the iPhone away like he'd been pinched. For your information, Comet was Superman's horse, all right? Louis, for the first time in his life, was speechless. I know, cool, right? Mikey smiled a broad, toothy grin. Superman had a fucking horse? With, superpowers? Hell yeah. He used to be a centaur in ancient Greece that wanted to be human. And the witch, Circe, fucked up and made him a full horse, so to pay him back, she gave him super strength, super speed, immortality, and telepathic thought. Louis pondered that for a moment and picked up the shovel. That witch is cruel, man, Louis finally said. How do you mean? Well, all he wanted was to be human, right? Yep. She made him a full horse. He probably hated that. Yeah, probably. And now he has to live forever wanting to be human. What a bitch. Mikey looked at his friend. The gleam in his eyes dulled a bit. I never thought of it that way. See what college will get you? You start voting with the libs and getting behind witches that make you suffer forever. Mikey jumped in the hole, hand extended. Louis, smiling, gave the big man the shovel, and Mikey got to work. Louis took Mikey's spot at the car, leaning his bulk against it and lighting a smoke. He inhaled deeply and stared at the pinpoints of starlight. You got any dreams, college boy? Like finishing this hole and getting out of here? No, that's more of a wish. Goals. Dreams. I want to own a comic book store. No shit. No shit. I've been thinking about that recently. I love the things, man. Always have. I've been saving my money and doing these jobs. It may be time. You'd give up the life? In a heartbeat. Mikey threw the shovel over the side, landing it next to the bedsheet wrapped object. He pulled his large frame out of the hole and regarded the bedsheet. I just don't know how many more times I can do this. Mikey leaned over and unwrapped the top portion of the bedsheet to reveal a man in his mid-50s. The gray hair nearly exploded from the top of his head in tangles. His eyes were closed, which highlighted his deep black bruises that covered both of them. Mikey shook his head. Damn, I hate this part. Get me the pliers, huh? Louis laughed and sauntered around the hole and over to Mikey and his dilemma. You seriously do the pliers thing? Well, how else are you going to get the teeth out? Mikey asked. Someone finds this putz and IDs him, the boss is toast. Louis stopped and snatched up the shovel. He positioned the flat end of the shovel just below the bedsheet man's nose and lifted his foot. Watch and learn, college boy. Louis smiled like a hyena as he spoke. Rarely did he get to put one over on Mikey. Just like planting a tree. Louis jammed down with his foot. The metal shovel connected with the top row of bedsheet man's teeth with an abrupt clang and followed immediately by a snap. Bone snapping, cracking like celery, gave way to the wet cleaver and pot roast sound of the shovel biting into the man's face and burying itself part of the way into his spine. And then the terrible part happened. The bedsheet man's eyes shot open. He sat up and screamed around the shovel, his arms stretched out in front, opening and closing. The anguished cry was horrible to hear. Mikey had lived near a pig farm as a very small child and could remember the screaming of the slaughtered pigs. It was a high-pitched wail that only communicated fear and pain, nothing more. The bedsheet man, complete with shovel protruding from his face, turned to Louis, who had stumbled backward, eyes as wide as the bedsheet man's, and continued to open and close his outstretched hands. It felt like forever, but only lasted a few seconds. Mikey managed to wrap his mind around the situation, pulled the sidearm, and double-tapped the bedsheet man, putting 2 slugs into his brain. As quickly as it started, it stopped, and the bedsheet man slumped to the side, officially dead. The silence lasted longer than the event. Mikey finally broke it. Yep, that was it. I'm done, he finally said, stashing his weapon. Louis turned to his partner, still shook up. I thought he was dead, Louis finally said. Get in line. Mikey and Louis both leaned against the side of the Crown Vic, staring out into the desert. The light was fading fast. Louis offered Mikey a smoke, and even though he quit over a year ago, Mikey accepted. Lights around, and both of the men sucked in the smoke and nicotine, hoping it would soothe their jangled nerves. What'd this guy do? Mikey asked. Owed the boss some major cash. He liked to play the ponies. Mikey laughed. It's like an omen. Well, what do you mean? And then for the rest of that, you have to go by the book.
Nice. That was excellent.
I loved that. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that. Well done, beautifully read as well.
It was. I was going to say with us, with Hellbound doing audiobooks now and, listening to the auditions and stuff like that, you have a really great voice for it. You should do some audiobooks. That would be great.
Oh, that's a past life. I used to be an actor in horror films, so.
Wow.
I don't do that anymore.
Oh, excellent. Were you in any that we may have heard of?
The biggest couple that I was in the mid 2000s were out of Lionsgate. They were Machined and Reborn, were a couple of slashers where I played the lead characters.
I may well have seen those. I watch anything horror that I can get my hands on. Excellent.
Yeah, you probably have. I did about 70 of them over the course of a decade or so.
Oh wow!
So.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent.
Gave it up.
Why?
But,
Yeah, right.
What made you not do it anymore?
Well, it got boring and tedious, and I didn't like performing. I really I've always written, and I like to write, and it's, I teach it and I do it. It's kind of like the two halves of my life, and that was kind of getting in the way. So I still work in film. I write films. I have one coming out April 12th, actually, in theaters, called Rotten Tail. I wrote based off of my graphic novel. So
fantastic.
I'm still in the biz, but just not an actor anymore.
Awesome. I'm always anxious to do this part of the show. 11 questions. Would you do 11 questions with me?
I'll do anything with you.
Oh, careful.
Wow.
Careful. You don't know what you're letting yourself in for.
That's fine. Pegging, it does not matter. I gave up shame for Lent, so I'm
now, 11 questions.
I was going to say this just turned into a different kind of show, but okay.
Moving on. Quickly.
What's your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure, Murder, She Wrote. Greatest show ever created.
Oh, Angela Lansbury. Excellent. Love it.
That's a good answer, that is. Let's see. Do you prefer the mountains or the ocean?
Oh, mountains. Oceans mean sand, and sand gets your ass cracked.
That's a good reasoning. Yeah, I prefer the mountains as well. Not for the ass crack thing, but the mountains are beautiful. What's your favorite lunch meat?
Favorite lunch meat is I can't say this right, and my wife would laugh at me if she were here. But prosciutto. It starts with a P. It ends with a risotto. It's really good.
I'm not even sure how to pronounce it either. I'm just glad you didn't say turkey. That's the only one I judge people for, is their turkey answer. So
here, why? Why do you judge people for turkey?
It is the blandest. It's the blandest of the lunch meats.
It
really is.
It is. It's pretty bland.
Yeah, it's for lunch meat. I'm all for turkey and Thanksgiving. That's fine, but
So you're like a turkey opportunist.
Yeah. Sure, we'll go with that.
All right, I get it.
Here we go. If it were legal to do so, would you eat human flesh?
Oh, yeah.
Yay! Good man.
Yeah, totally. I come from a long line of well-marbled people, so, my people probably taste really flippin' good. Like roast level good.
Oh.
Wow.
So I'm hungry now.
See? And it's totally low carb. You ever see a fat cannibal? Nope.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
There you go.
Cannibal ketosis. There. My gift to the world.
It could catch on.
Have you ever been pulled over for a traffic violation?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He likes to go fast, I can tell.
No, it wasn't even going fast. It was. I was coming back from a meeting in L.A. to Phoenix, and it was my license plate light burnt out.
Really?
So they pulled me over for not having a lit license plate in butt-fuck California, where the mutant hillbillies are. Yeah, it was so lovely. It was wonderful.
Speaking of, I just saw Hills Have Eyes again, and that's just a creepy movie. So, okay.
It's a totally creepy movie.
It is, yeah.
Are you talking remake or original?
I watched the remake. I do. Yeah.
That's like the turkey of horror movies,
Oh no!
To be fair, the original was so damn good. Why they thought they could remake it, I don't know. They should have just left it alone.
Right. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
It's the turkey of remake. I'm gonna remember that one.
Exactly.
Are you Android or Apple?
Android.
There you go. Woo! That's 2 for Androids.
For cheaper.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's see. Oh, here we go. What is your favorite franchise? Halloween, Friday the 13th, Elm Street, Hellraiser, or Saw?
My absolute favorite movie of all time is Halloween from 1978.
Wow. Yeah.
It's near perfect.
Okay, well, what do you think of Rob Zombie's remakes?
Those aren't remakes.
Okay, well, what?
Those are awful bastardizations with the same title.
Oh,
Yeah. So the reason Michael Myers works, here's in my nutshell. The reason Michael Myers historically works as a bad guy, scary person, is because he's not human. There's no reasoning behind it. And if you can't, it's like a machine, and you absolutely cannot reason with a machine. So flash forward to Rob Zombie stuff, and the kid's like a triggered little kid with stripper mom and bad dad, and he's totally psychoanalyzed to death. And he has reasons for all this stuff. And no way that kid grew into that 17-foot monster. We saw his paws. There's no way.
I
actually fell asleep during it in the theater.
I have to admit, I am a fan of the new reboots. I don't know what you call them, but I really am. I liked the we got a little more backstory to Michael, because I read the book before I saw the movie. I had to sneak it, like my mom didn't know I was reading it, but we had more, I think, backstory to Michael in the book.
Well, the books the books were after the movies.
Were they? Were they really?
Yeah, it was a movie first. John Carpenter wrote the movie, and then they used to do novelizations of things in the 70s. So the novelization was just whatever the dude made up backstory-wise.
Wow. I did not know that. Interesting.
So, the reboots are like the vegan turkey lunch meat. It's just frickin'
ouch.
But with the franchise question, the Halloween, you did get a good mark on that one, because that's my sister too.
And it's only because you didn't have the Howling listed as a franchise.
Oh, that would have been a good one. It would have.
Oh, do you know about the Howling is one of my favorite films of all time, but all the ones after that were they were beyond turkey. They were just beyond cold sliced turkey. They were disgraceful. That first one was brilliant. Loved it.
The third one, set in Australia with the marsupial werewolves, it was at least semi-clever in its awfulness.
I don't think I even saw. I saw the second one. And I thought, no, I'm not going to sully the memory of the Howling. No, I'm not going to do that.
Part 2, your sister is a werewolf. Absolute genius.
Oh, no.
TV's Captain America, Red Brown.
No. Well, I did not get through our 11 questions, so you have to promise that you're going to come back.
Swear. I will.
Yeah, I was going to say, just say yes. And tell us real quick where we can find you online.
You can find me at davidchayes.com. That's David, the letter C, HAYES.com. Facebook /abnormalENT. And then I work a lot with SourcePoint Press. So you can find a lot of my work over at sourcepointpress.com, as well as Amazon, IMDb, all kinds of crap.
Awesome. I will get your links put up on our Facebook page. If anybody wants to talk to you, then go there and do it. And thank you for coming on the show. I will definitely be bugging you to come back.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, David.
It's been fun. Thank you, David. I look forward to chatting again.
Let's do it.
Okay, you have a good one. And I'm afraid it is that time, Xtina, where we have to say good night, Xtina.
Good night, Xtina.
When your body's had enough of me, and I'm laid right out on the floor. When you think I love you all I can, I'm gonna love you a little bit more. Come on over here and lay by my side. I've got to be touching you. Let me rub your tired shoulders the way I used to do. Look into my eyes and give me that smile, the one that always turns me on. And let me take your hand now, 'cause we're my mind.